Everyone. Thank you for joining us all day long. This is our last session in the health, beauty, and wellness track. Um, Again, I want to make sure that we thank Launch Dayton for hosting Startup Week. I want to thank myself and my fellow track captain, Tate Winston, for putting together the health and wellness track. I want to thank myself for being myself. And I want to thank Katie and Kim for joining me today to close out the health, beauty, and wellness track. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to pitch to retailers and also drop a little bit of information about something that we have coming up at the Entrepreneur Center. So, Kim, would you like to give a brief introduction to the people of who you are?
Hi, I'm Kim Frazier. I get to work with Lakeisha and Katie, which is my best quality. So I get to work with them. I work at the Entrepreneur Center as the Director of Growth Initiatives. And so really what that means is I get to do whatever's next, which is kind of cool. So one of the things that we're doing next is one of the things we're going to be telling you about later. I'm also an entrepreneur. I have a restaurant in Springfield called Speakeasy Ramen.
Thank you. And Katie, you want to give them a little bit about you, just in case they didn't see you in your last session?
Sure. I'm Katie Hill. I'm an entrepreneur in residence at the Entrepreneur Center, which means I have the privilege of working with these lovely ladies. I spend most of my day working directly with clients in the Entrepreneurial Services Provider Program, the ESP program. But I am lucky that I get to dabble in new programs based on some of the feedback that I get from clients and the needs that we see that local entrepreneurs need. So I always love the opportunity to jump in with these two amazing ladies and help with new programs.
Thank you. So what we're coming to talk about, and please feel free at any time to drop any questions you have around this. We're talking about how to pitch your business to retailers, and just want to give you some tips. Let's start with just the acknowledgement of saying, I want to sell my product somewhere else. One of the first things that I would say is understanding the brand that you're trying to get in your product inside of. Are you a Walmart brand or are you a Target brand? Who, or you both? With your local businesses, because here in Dayton we have some great local businesses that sell other people's items. How do you fit in with their business? Because one of the things you really have to understand around wanting your product sold somewhere else is they have to want your product to fit with their business. So if you have a Christian-based business, I'm not sure that you're going to do well inside of a business that might be selling sex toys. I'm just not sure that those two things match up for either of them. So it's one of those things. It's to have the conversation around just because somebody offers something, or you see that there's some shelf space available, it may not be the proper shelf space for you. So there's a lot that goes into really having starting there and saying, is this a fit? Do you ladies have anything you want to add on that piece or that portion, that first tip?
I mean, that's advice gold right there.
Yeah.
No, the
Yeah,
one
that's
thing
good.
is that understanding what the retailer values in terms of what you might be able to bring unique to the table. One example that comes to mind right away is one of my clients is Rare Active. They're like a unique athletic pants, and they are carried at Up and Running, a runner store in Washington Township. And one of the things that the owner of the retail store, the owner of Up and Running, liked about Rare Active is that it was really important for her to have new and unique products on her shelf. So she has to compete against Amazon, right? And that's not an easy task. And so the thing that the niche that she's carved out for her local customers is that they know that they can come to her store and find things there that they can't find on Amazon, because she's taking the extra time and effort to seek out new and exciting products. And so Rare Active fit into that perfectly, because Rare Active isn't sold on Amazon and it's not widely known. And so by Patty, the founder of Rare Active, emphasizing that niche and doing providing value to Up and Running in a way that was beyond just the money, just the margins, just having a product on the shelf. She was really doing that retailer a favor by offering her product there.
Kim, would you like to share any thoughts around?
The only thing I would add is, you know, you're targeting for retail space, you're targeting your customers, but in the retailer, they're kind of your customer too. And so knowing your audience, knowing your customer is really important so that your product is aligned, like what you were saying about certain products in certain stores. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I just to kind of finish that thought. This is why knowing your target market and who your customer is so important to know. Are you sharing a customer base with the retailer that you're trying to get inside of? You know, again, if you sell vegan products, I'm not sure you're going to do well at a butcher. Maybe. I have no idea. I don't know that you would want your things in there, depending on why people have different reasons for being vegan. So, you know, that's something to think about. There are some people, like I eat vegan food from time to time, but I'm absolutely a meat eater. So it would be nice for me. But if you have someone who is a little bit more conscious around the actual killing of an animal, they probably wouldn't be fond of your products being sold there. So it's thinking about the entirety of what your customer base sees, because they may question you as an entire business for even having your product on those shelves. And you have to think about how that's going to affect your overall brand in terms of the representation of where the other places your brand is represented. So the next thing is really knowing and understanding your numbers so that you know what you can afford to do. So there's numerous types of ways that you can work with other businesses. Ladies, please help me out if I miss one. You have the ability to actually sell or wholesale your product to someone, which means they come in, they purchase a certain amount of product from you from at a predetermined price. And now the product is theirs to sell for retail. So anything you do does not technically affect them. So if you put the product on sale on your website, it may not be on sale over there. They've purchased it to you. And the same is true. If they decide to put it on sale in their store or on their website, that has nothing to do with the purchasing price on your website or in your store. So that's kind of that's a little snippet about wholesaling. You also have more of I lost the word that quick, commission-based option, where you might sit the product in someone's store on their shelves or even on their website, and then there is a commission that is received based once the product sells. So maybe they get 20%, you get 80% once the product has actually sold. And there might not be any other financial exchanges if the product does not sell. Then there's others that have a combination of that, where you might pay a price to be on the physical shelf. And then there's also a commission-based rate that goes along with the processing of the sale, because there's processing fees and things that the business that is selling the product is going to have to sustain. So if I sell your product and there's a credit card that is swiped, there's an immediate fee percentage that's taken off of that. Then you're taking the 20% off. Then you have I hear someone's background. Then did I say all of consignment, which is can also be considered consignment. So those are some very popular options. I'm sorry. There's a fly that's attacking me. Sorry. So if you see me, like, make quick move, just know that's what happened. Did I miss any type of partnership or retailing situation? Just percentage based wholesaling. Do you all either of you have a preference when you're working with the different people? Do you have a preference, or do you have any advice around any of those areas?
I think for me, it depends on it depends on my client and what their product is and what their goals are.
The only thing that we do besides at the restaurant, besides our own, sorry.
No, go ahead, Kim.
Go ahead. Kim, you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Are you still there?
Yeah, we're still here. We can hear you.
Okay. Oh, there she is. There's Katie. I'm having some technical difficulties though. You guys keep freezing, and I don't know if it's my internet connection or not. It's being worked on right now at my house, so maybe.
Now, what were you saying about what you do at Speakeasy?
So at Speakeasy, we only sell our own stuff, our own swag at the restaurant, and so we are our own retailer. But then we also we give local artists the opportunity to hang their stuff, and we sell it at no cost to ourselves, because for us it's a benefit of having something on the wall that's interesting and beautiful. So that's our share. But I know that that's not the normal in the retail marketplace.
It's not, but I think it's a cool option for those who have physical spaces to allow someone to post the art. And honestly, you're not paying for art. Your art changes out when someone buys it. But, it's a great way to kind of have free art, free art in your space per se, and to help that piece get sold. Because it's one of those things, one of the things I noticed in my business, like if I wear a shirt, whatever I have on is what sells more. Or if there's other people who have on my product and I'm at an event, whatever is on the physical body sells more. And I've talked to a couple of my friends who do like jewelry and things like that. The things that she's worn are the things that people will want in the immediate, because they see it on. So I think the same is probably true to an extent with artwork. Once they can see it on a wall, it becomes more appealing, or they can kind of see it in their space too. Katie?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I was just going to say, I've seen all of the retail models that you mentioned. I've seen all of those work across my clients. So it just kind of depends on the client and what their goals are. I will say generally, in my experience, my clients are selling products. They're not the retailers. So they're pitching to the retailers, and by and large, the retailers are dictating the rules, right, of the sale. And so it's just a matter of seeing how they conduct business, and then determining if that model fits for my client or not, and we just go from there. And sometimes we try things and it works, and sometimes we try things and it doesn't. But I kind of encourage you to try those different models and see how it goes, and then because you might be surprised. Like consignment might work better for you than you might think. It's a way to get your product in the door quickly and easily, pain-free, so to speak, from the retailer, because they don't have to upfront for the inventory. But maybe it doesn't work. If it doesn't sell, it doesn't work for anybody, and so then you move on. But I think all of those models have value.
Agree. One of the things I'll say is, if you did not catch Katie's earlier session or Emerald's earlier session, and you're interested in this, I would definitely fall back on both of theirs, because one of the things you really have to know for yourself is kind of your margins. Knowing your margins, and then knowing how you want to appeal to your customer. Because for some businesses, it honestly may be better for you just to stay direct to consumer, where you can completely and totally constantly control the customer's interaction with your brand, which that's something that you somewhat lose in reality when you do go out to retailers. Going into retailers helps you to expand the brand, get more visibility, because now, especially when you're growing, okay, I have access to people that I know, and if I'm running ads, the people who kind of are like the other people that I know and that like me, right? like you got a couple offsprings. Once you begin to add retailers into that conversation, you now add on who they know, and who knows their brand, and who likes their brand, and who's attracted to their stuff. So you're beginning to spread. So there's benefit in that retailer relationship. And even locally, we have businesses who are looking to do, quite a few of the ones I've seen are looking to do more on the consignment side of things. But they're looking at that. And one of the things that I have noticed is they're very big on, um, one of them that I know of is you actually pay for shelf space. So when it comes to knowing your numbers in that aspect, it's really about knowing, do you need to up your price of your product because you're now paying for somewhere to shelve it. And then the conversation too begins, does that increase your pricing across the entire board, because you want them to buy from that space because you want people to come there, you want that to be a successful relationship. But oh my goodness, I'm $10 less on my website because there's not that expense there. Do either of you have advice around that? I know what I do, but or I did, I should say. But do either of you have advice or suggestions around that?
This for me is a super hot topic with a lot of my direct to consumer clients. And actually I heard it come up last night in the pitch event. We heard from Illume, who had they have a device that you can tie to your tennis shoe that for when you're out running, if something happens to you, if you get hurt and you need to make an emergency contact, you can use this tiny little device on your shoe to get in touch with people as opposed to having to carry a phone or a watch or whatever with you. Really interesting. He touched on this, and I think he was hinting at something that's called marquee pricing, which is where you take your cost, and in his case, his cost was $35 to make the little device. And then they wanted to sell direct to consumer at $65. They felt the market could tolerate a $65 price point for this product. But in marquee pricing, the way that it works is basically you double your cost to sell wholesale, and then the retailer doubles again. So in their case, they would approximately double their price from 35 to 70. So their wholesale price would be 70, and then retailers would be looking to sell that for $140. And so if the market's not going to bear out that this device on your shoe is worth $140, it's almost a no-brainer. Like he's not going to sell to retail, right? And he acknowledged that. He said that we're going to be a direct-to-consumer product for $65 on a website. And so that completely changes that's their go-to-market strategy. And the way that they market themselves is going to be through a website as opposed to getting out in front of the running store that I mentioned earlier. It seems like a no-brainer in a running store, but the pricing makes it prohibitive from the get-go. So we explore this all the time. Generally, too, when you talk to retailers, if they have to sell it for $140, they're not going to want you on your website selling it for $65. They're not going to allow that. So you really have to think about that from the start. And in some cases, it's just a non-starter.
Agree. And I think it's something that it's a part of your beginning goal setting around your business. So that if you are serious about it, your prices are set appropriately. So you're not trying to pop up a year into your business. You've got people who've been buying your product at $25, and then boom, they wake up and now all of a sudden what they've been buying for a year for $25 has, in their eyes, has not changed. And now you're selling, they're like 45, and it's kind of like, whoa, wait. Why, how, all of that. Do you have a rule of thumb that you kind of go by with when you're talking to your clients at all around, I guess, even playing with this idea of going into retailers?
I mean, for me, it always starts with the finance. What you guys know this about me, that I'm like obsessed with business planning, and that all my business plans start with the profit and loss statement from the get-go. So if you think that your product can bear out the value that is required for retail, then by all means go for it. But that is such a fundamental question, and you have to know that through your numbers, like straight from the get-go. That's what I would say. I always go straight to that P&L, and then pair that with a little bit of customer discovery. How much would you pay for this item? And your answer is going to become pretty clear pretty quickly.
I agree. I actually want to twist this a little bit to kind of talk about something you should not do. And Kim, I'm going to come to you on this. Being a person who has a space, and you, like you said, you have your own kind of wares that you're selling. What should a person not do when it comes to if they're like, I want to sell at Speakeasy? What is the wrong way to approach you about that? And I know that you already don't sell anything, and that's kind of why I'm asking the question.
I would say make it hard for me to say no, because it's very easy for me to say no. So if they can come up with a way that is going to bring value to me and to my customers, then it's something that I would be interested in. And so they could potentially sell it there. Some ideas might be, for example, right now, we have a terrible carryout problem because of COVID, right? We're getting so many carryout orders. Carryout orders come with so much garbage, right? So much trash. And so like somebody were trying to sell like nice chopsticks that never had to be replaced. You could just wash them and keep them forever. And they're not the little cheap ones that are held together. That might be a benefit to me and to my customers. It might save me money because I don't have to give as many away and people can buy a nice pair right there. I might do that. So you'd have to come with a problem in mind that you're going to solve for me and tell me how it's going to better my life too. And then it's going to be harder for me to say no.
So if anybody is looking for a business concept,
yes. Yes.
Just gave you one. I don't know how into it you guys are. But,
there is so much trash. I'm not even kidding. You know, I know it depends on health department laws in different places, but a lot of places are even trying to use reusable type containers, which comes with a whole assortment of problems too. And in Ohio, we wouldn't be allowed yet. But those are super interesting problems to solve for future entrepreneurs. Absolutely.
Okay, so we have a question in the chat, and the question is, I've had retailers sell our product less than our online price. Any advice on how to deal with those situations, either upfront or once it happens? Does anybody? I have an opinion on this, but do either of you want to offer yours first?
You go ahead, Lakeisha.
So it really depends on the agreement and the situation of how the product is being sold. So I do sell my product personally in another space. They are not allowed to change the pricing because I actually receive all of the money based on the agreement. It is a place in which you pay for shelf price. So they are not able to, the part of our agreement is they cannot alter my price without my permission. And honestly, out of respect for them and making it just an easy situation on everyone, I don't go and just rent. Like if I have a sale online, that's my sale. It's not anything to do with that physical location. So I think one is about what you and that retailer have discussed. Also, if you've been paid wholesale for the product, unless it is stated somewhere in the contract that they can't, once they have purchased the product from you, they've done their due diligence to you and your business. And why are they having a sale? Is your product not moving? Is it something that they're doing for their business? So it's really about the contractual agreement that you have. And if it's not contractual that they can't, then there's honestly not a whole lot you can do. And again, if they purchased wholesale, because once you purchase wholesale, the retail is really suggested at that point, and it's about what's going to make them a profit. Now, if it's more of a consignment thing, then that gets a little stickier because now they're affecting how much you can bring in, and it wasn't discussed. So there's definitely layers to that. Were either of you going to add anything different or?
No, I think that's absolutely correct. If you've given up your power of what you can sell it for with a contractual agreement, then or no contractual agreement, then you can't. There's not much you can do about it. Negotiating that up front. We do that at the restaurant too. Product that doesn't sell, it's going to go on sale. It's just how it's going to be. So because we have to move to the next thing. So we do that a lot of times. We'll have, for example, it's not as good a thing because we're not a retail establishment per se, but a lot of we try to use local breweries for draft beer, and sometimes there's a flavor that is, gross. So it doesn't sell. And so, it's gonna go on sale, or it's gonna be, free for the employees or something, because you got to get rid of it. So that happens.
Yeah, I mean, even inside my business, I'm right now, not even because things aren't selling, it's just too many products. So
yeah, that could be too.
Something has got to go. So once you get that, something has to go. Or if it's a place of where you have too few and it's not something that you're really wanting to move forward with again, or if it's seasonal, with us moving into fall, like a flash in the night, I know people are getting ready to start putting things that are more spring, summer oriented. They're going to go on sale because they need to move in that fall attire, those fall scents, those fall flavors, because now people are craving that. It's colder in the mornings, the iced teas are a little bit, people are wanting more of their warm chais now, right? Versus their cold things. So it's just, it's that plays a huge part. And honestly, my advice now that it has happened, is to simply ask the question. I would ask them, why, if it's really concerning to you, I would ask why did you put the product on sale? And again, if it was a wholesale situation, I would probably personally leave it alone, but I think that it would be good to ask why, just to make sure you can understand, like, is your product doing well with them? And to make sure that that's not the issue, that your product isn't doing well. Because if that's a relationship you need to alter, or if you're providing too much, because maybe it does okay, but maybe you're doing too large of orders, so that it's sitting and they're feeling uncomfortable about how it's sitting because it seems like it's so much. It's definitely a door that can be opened to a really positive and informative conversation. And that's what I would encourage, because I don't think in my immediate mind, and I'm definitely far from an optimist, and anybody can tell you that, the immediate thing that comes to my mind, though, is not something negative. It's not a bad thing that immediately comes to mind, but I do think that, I would reach out and see what's happening and what's going on.
I would add, though, that I understand that sort of disconcerting feeling about it, if that's what's coming across, that when someone else has your product and is doing something with it that you're not doing, I mean, that does feel weird, right? But that's part of the nature of retail, and that's why, to both Lakeisha and Kim's points, that's why the agreement is so important. But I do understand that sort of unnerving aspect to someone doing something with your product that you didn't sort of anticipate or approve.
Definitely. Thank you for that question. Please keep your questions going. I think now is probably, as we talk about that, I think it's a great time to introduce our idea, ladies. What do you think? Kim?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's on you.
All right. So what we thought this year with COVID is that retail sales would probably be down for most places, and customers are going to be probably shopping more online this year than they have in the past, which it's already been trending upward to online. So, but the trend we imagine is going to be even greater. And I had heard even some retailers are not going to be open on Thanksgiving or doing Black Friday sales or something. I had heard a few things about that. Not sure how true that is. So what we
Black Friday.
Yeah, right. Which is totally different. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to do two things really. One, give our entrepreneurs that we work with at the Entrepreneur Center an opportunity to be able to sell their products online, but also from a community point of view, if I'm a consumer and I want to shop local to try to keep my local economy going through COVID, because I think a lot of us are like that, where we would like to shop local and keep as much money in the community as we possibly can, that we wanted a place to be able to go to see what those things are. So what we've decided to do at the Entrepreneur Center is to create a page where we can feature. We have a marketplace page where we can advertise that page of, you want to shop local, here's the place to go. And we'll give, the link of where it's going to be. And then we can feature all of our entrepreneurs' products on that. And so basically, we wouldn't be doing the sale ourselves. We wouldn't be keeping the inventory or anything like that. It would just be directing the customer directly to your Shopify or Square or whatever commerce platform sites you have already. So we're looking for companies, customers, or entrepreneurs to start. Anybody who wants to be a part of that wants to be featured in a sort of Dayton region marketplace, to let us know. We'll get you hooked up to that and get your products online. Did I miss anything?
The only thing I would add to that is that, and then along with that, we'll get to put some marketing muscle from tech. So we'll market the page. We have some media buys and some marketing plans in the works that will hopefully drive the community to the page and then find you there. So not only can you do your own marketing, but hopefully you'll also benefit from the marketing and the reach of the Entrepreneur Center to help try to give everybody a boost this season.
Yes.
So honestly, this is kind of a different look at a retail-ish thing. Dominantly, it's not really a retailer, but it is a different marketing channel. And it's a different exposure channel. And that's one of the things I was going to also, I kind of wanted to weave that in, is understanding that you can have multiple channels and not necessarily go all the way out and dealing with other retailers. So just making sure that you're eyeing all of your options in terms of one of the things Kim mentioned, I would consider almost more of a partnership in terms of what she's doing with the artists. Businesses that are opening up, and the more businesses that are opening up, that shared ability to market, to cross market, is so important. And that's one of the great things about when you are able to work with your other local businesses and local retailers, is that you all can share that. You all can share that. You can share that marketing that is co-branded almost, In our case, it would be tech and whoever chooses to join us. And, other cases, it could be you and another small business, or several other small businesses, depending on your capacity. And the capacity is another thing that I really want to drive home, is making sure that as you begin to have these conversations, you have the capacity to do more. And in respect to capacity, every business is going to be different. So for some businesses, capacity is, do you have the money to buy more things, to put more places, to fulfill more orders? For other people, it's going to be, do you have the capacity as a service-based business to handle the clients that can come in by the additional marketing? Do you, in reality? Because we can all say yes, but then when it comes in and you can't, I don't want to have to say I told you so. And then the other thing is, for those of you who may be makers, understanding that capacity and if you believe right now, okay, I can scale up a little bit, having a significant plan in line immediately to follow up to say, if this goes above 12 more orders a week, I'm going to need an employee. And what's your plan in place to make that happen for you? So just understanding all of these things so that you can be as successful as possible. We've got a few more minutes left. Do you have any questions? If you do, please make sure you drop them in the app chat, or the chat on the app. I saw when I was watching earlier some people dropping things on YouTube, and unfortunately we can't see those comments until we get off. So make sure that if you have any questions, any comments, you're dropping them in the session Q&A on the app. So while we give a few minutes for people to drop any final questions they may have, do you ladies have any kind of final parting thoughts on pitching to retailers, as well as anything about the upcoming marketplace?
The only thing I wanted to add about the marketplace was just to clarify that this is a pilot program. We haven't done this before. And so as such, what we're asking is that if you would like to participate in it, that you become a client of the Entrepreneur Center, which means sign up with SBDC or apply for ESP. You can do all of that at the website. It's techdayton.com. To learn more, you can reach out to me or Kim or Lakeisha. We can help you get engaged with our organization. But right now it's not open to the general public. It's basically open to our clients, but we would love to make all of you clients. So please don't let that be something that stops you from engaging in this initiative.
Thank you. Kim, do you have any parting words?
No, no, just would love to have the more customers we can get, the more businesses that we can list on our marketplace, the more vibrant the site will be. So we would love to have all of you. To Katie's point, we'd love to have all of you do it. And also to Katie, I feel it's like a little hologram on your. It looks like a little hologram, kind of. But yeah,
I believe this is from Heart Mercantile.
Oh, very nice.
Another
very nice.
Business. Yeah.
Local retailer. Yeah, local retailer. That's great. Yeah.
A t-shirt too, I think, is from the. You see my date.
Oh yeah, very good.
Yeah.
It's funny. I have my this is a Mother Stewart shirt on, which is the brewery in Springfield. So.
Nice.
We all shop local.
I'm about to say, I didn't really shop local. I shop because that's my shirt. So I mean,
yeah,
business
yourself.
That's about as local as it gets, isn't it? Like, yeah.
What can I say? We do have a question. It says, can you all give us an example of a good elevator pitch to retailers? That's pressure. In the midnight hour.
So it's so hard to do that without knowing what the product is or what the retailer is. I mean, the pitch changes for every retailer, every pitch, every concept. So that's hard to do. It's back to, I would say, Lakeisha, it's really what you had. Or you're tailoring your value proposition to, which is hard, but any better ideas, maybe, Katie or Lakeisha?
I mean, I was just gonna say I can't do it on the fly, and I feel like there's a point in that pitches have to be practiced.
Sure.
So keep that in mind. That yeah, we gotta practice our pitches. So no, I can't do one right on the fly. But in terms of tips for an elevator pitch, especially with retailers, I think a big thing with retail is that normally the advice would be if you can do it in person, you should. Now in COVID, that might change a little bit. So thinking about that, but also doing it at a time that makes sense for the retailer. Like try to call ahead, get an appointment, or sometimes you have to go in just to get their attention, but then just, it's just to like introduce yourself. I have a thing I want to get on your calendar at a time like when the shop is quiet, before hours, maybe when they're restocking, whatever, like taking into consideration their schedule for when you go in and pitch, I think is really, really important. The other thing too is that when you go to pitch, bring samples. Let them touch, feel, see, smell your products. So that because it's one thing to try to describe it. You're going to waste a whole lot of time and a whole lot of breath versus just showing them what it is that you have to offer. Demo as much as you can. Those would be two key things that I would say about when you do go in and do your pitch. Or three things. Practice, make sure it's a good time for the person that you're presenting to, and demo the product.
I agree with all of those things. And then I would add doing your research on that person. One of the things in my past life, I had a publication. And one of the worst things of when people would pitch themselves to me was when I would ask why they should be featured or anything like that. And they had no clue as to the things that were actually featured in the publication. The same is true for me with when I go to talk to people about their businesses. I recently pitched my business to go inside for have certain items sold inside of a certain business. I immediately did my research to understand what kind of things they put, and even when I pitched the products to them, I pitched only a portion of my products. I pitched my products that made sense on their shelves. I didn't go and say, come get this whole 45 products that I sell. I took 3 items that I knew fit what they already do as a business and said, hey, I think these couple of items would fit really well in with what you're already doing and how you're already presenting to your customer base. And I think that we probably share this customer base. And I did that via email. I used to work somewhere where we constantly got cold called, and people would cold call at the complete and total wrong time. And here recently with 2 of my clients' events, I had people try to cold call them in the middle of major events. That is when you don't want to do it. So if you are with somebody and they're hosting a grand opening, this is the time you literally say hi, hand them a business card, introduce yourself, and walk away. Don't try to get 15 minutes of a person's time during a grand opening to try to sell yourself, because now you appear rude because this isn't the time, and you clearly don't know how to read a room. And I also had another client of mine was holding an event where she was hosting 30 or 40 different vendors, and someone was trying to sell her in the middle of setup for that event. Complete and total wrong time while you're trying to get 40 people situated, right? Like, so that goes back to Katie's point of trying to get an appointment, trying to get on someone's schedule so that you can have their undivided attention, or the best amount of attention that you possibly can. But coming up to someone at one of their busiest moments, it leaves you memorable in a possibly negative way.
Absolutely, from the restaurant perspective too. When people come in wanting anything, a job, share a product with us, whatever, during a dinner rush or a lunch rush, no, we not only no, but we hate you. So,
like, you left the wrong impression. We're going to talk about you. It's not. I can't wait for them. It's more
not
like,
in a good way. Right. Exactly. Right.
So, ladies, that is pretty much the end of our session. Do you have any parting thoughts to share with the people?
The only parting thought from me is please hit us up for being on the marketplace, on our marketplace, so we have you incorporated into our website when we advertise that. That would be fantastic. Reach out to us.
Katie, anything from you?
I second that. Just congrats to all entrepreneurs for getting out there and building a business, especially in this environment.
Yeah.
Job hanging in, and please be part of our initiative on the marketplace. We would love to have you.
And then lastly, from me, I want to again say thank you to the Launch Dayton team for allowing me to participate and help out with the health, beauty, and wellness track. I want to thank all of the speakers that we had today. Thank you so much. Thank you to those who have attended and asked questions. We appreciate it. Please make sure you check into the app, because you can connect with all of the speakers on the app and get to reach out, have conversations, and learn more about them. If you have any questions about building your business, growing your business, reach out to us at the Entrepreneur Center or any of the people who have spoken today. And I just want to again say thank you. Go have dinner or get a drink at somewhere local, and your drink can be iced tea, right? Like, I'm not encouraging anything other than that. I'm just saying a beverage. It can be iced tea, sweet tea, hot tea. Just support somebody local. Go get you a cupcake, anything from any of our local businesses. And thank you. And tomorrow is the food track. So please check in tomorrow and support the food track. I believe they have sessions going on from 9 to 3 as well. So lots of great information coming for food-based businesses tomorrow.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.